The world tells us that life is empty and we have no destiny in life. We are just born and we die. What if I told you this is furthest from the truth? Everyone on this earth was born with a purpose in life, a destiny, but it is up to us, each of us, to fight against the negativity and fulfill our purpose. In Ephesians 1:4 it says, "Even before he made the world, God loved us and chose us in Christ to be holy and without fault in his eyes." It also says in Jeremiah 1:5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you." This means that God knew you long before you were even born on this earth. In the verse that has been very near and dear to my heart for a long time, Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." This gives us the idea that God has a destiny, a plan for us to fulfill during our short time on earth. It is a little known fact that there are scrolls or books of destiny in heaven. Everyone knows about the book of life, but have you ever heard of the books or scrolls of destiny? These are full of what we were created to accomplish during our time on earth. Unfortunately, since we humans have free will, we can ultimately choose not to fulfill it. It is also common belief that the enemy doesn't know or doesn't have access to our destinies, but I'd like to challenge that. I fully believe that he has full access to our destiny scrolls that are in heaven. Examples of him derailing destinies are throughout the Bible. You just have to know what you're looking for. To answer another common challenge, though, is this. The enemy was kicked out of the third heaven, but it is still in the lower heavens, constantly trying to find accusations against us from our history and day-to-day lives. How else could he be making accusations against us in heaven, Jesus being our intercessor, if he and his minions don't have access to heaven? This is of course shown in 1 Peter 5:8. Jesus being our intercessor, which is shown in Romans 8:34. All of this takes place in the courts of heaven, which we have access to. Another example is in Job, where he appears among the council of heaven, and God asks him where he's been. If Satan didn't have access to heaven, how did he have access to the council? Now, since the enemy has access to our destiny scrolls, he knows what we're made for and does his best to prevent it. One perfect example of this is Jesus himself. Jesus was born on earth, thus his human body was created. But since the enemy had access to the destiny scrolls, he did his best to prevent Jesus from being born. He attempted to tarnish Jesus' bloodline multiple times and tried killing Jesus before his time was fulfilled. Once Jesus was born, though, the enemy did his best to stop him, but since he didn't know how God would succeed, he ended up unintentionally helping God succeed in Jesus' destiny. Sadly, the enemy ends up being successful in doing this to most of us. Most of us get hit hard by him in our natural lives, which result in us becoming fearful of something connected to our destiny, or us going a totally different route than we were supposed to go. This results in us being unhappy with our life as a whole. Have you ever wondered why you or family around you are unhappy or dissatisfied with their life? As spirit beings with a soul, and we are born and brought into this human life, we are born and created with a destiny to fulfill. If we end up not fulfilling that destiny, we end up being very unhappy and dissatisfied with life, and feeling that we were made for so much more. That feeling is the absolute truth. It is our soul longing to fulfill its destiny. Many times our destiny, though, is so big beginning idea we have is just a small portion of what it will grow into. Have you ever had dreams or desires that you wanted to accomplish, but then just like that, you let what you thought was reality to set in, and immediately you just let your dream fade away into nothingness? Don't let that dream, that desire fade away. That can simply be the beginning of something so much bigger. Some of us have calls on our lives so great that we are hit with an experience, something so traumatic, even at times supernatural in our early life, that it causes us to go a different way. This happens when we don't have the spiritual protection we need when we are young to prevent these things from happening, or at least to help recover from those traumatic events. Thus, we are open to traumatic events that have the potential to derail us for life. Did you have a experience, whether supernatural or in the natural, occur to you whenever you were really young? There are even some people on this earth, and some I'm sure that are not even born yet, that have a call so heavy the enemy is constantly waging war in the spiritual realm to prevent them from being born. The responsibility lands on us as family, friends, and even as future parents to fight that war with those we love, whether present or future. Remember, God is not limited by time, so our prayers and spiritual warfare can potentially affect the past as well as our present and future. Everyone has a call on their life. It is ultimately our decision to go with it and fight for it, along with fighting all the negativity that this world brings. Do you have a dream or a desire to do something big in this world?